I mean, some hustles are absolutely hilarious. There used to be one guy back in the 80s. He would go around through the Midwestern states, and what he would do is he would dress up as a rich college kid, and he would walk into a bar, throwing around a little bit of money, buying expensive drinks in these small town bars, and he would just convince people that he was drunk, and then he would get himself into a game of pool. And the first game he would lose, and then he would just start upping the ante all the time until he got to the big games. He got $100, $200 a game, and he would play them and just wipe the table on until the whole bar realized they had been taken. And that was a hustle.
Yourself?
Both of them, always. I mean, there's always the employment of actually hustling somebody. I mean, the funny thing is that once you become a pool player, you realize, you have this tool which you can use to get back at people. And like, let's say you're in a bar and some kid's acting, I don't know, rather cocky or egotistical and is ticking you off, and you happen to be by the pool table and you're playing. What you can do is you can play sort of badly, and then every time that he wants to play for a beer, you beat him. And I one time did that for a whole about 2 or 3 nights in a row. I would just go to Joe's, or else I would go to Brothers, and I would play people for fun. And then I would always offer to play for a beer. And when we played for a beer, I would always beat them. But when we played for fun, I would always lose, thereby getting me free drinks all night. I mean, that was like the furthest extent I've ever hustled at. I mean, but in terms of getting hustled, I definitely have gotten hustled a couple of times. I mean, I used to play in this room called the Green Room out in Lyons, Illinois, and I knew the owner pretty well. It's this older Italian fellow named Louis, and a guy walks in and he offers to play me some cheap sets for dollars, and I'm like, sure, why not? Playing for $4 fun. It's cheap, it gets a little exhilarating, gets your heart pumping a little bit, and we're playing. And he slowly starts pushing the bet up and up, and I finally got to the point where I was playing, like, I think it was like $15 or $20 games, like, for each game, so a set came out to like 60, 70 to 100, and like at the end of it, I realized, you know what, this guy is taking the last load and he's leaving. So I ended up losing a bit of money that day, but it was pretty interesting to learn from that. You can't, if you feel remorse for someone, you can't be a hustler. Your sole job when you're hustling is to trick somebody, is to try to make them think, hey, I think I can still beat this guy. It's like the same thing when you go play somebody even evenly. If I match up evenly, let's say a 9-ball with somebody, and I'm playing for, let's say, what, $5 a set, I'll play all night long, I'll lose all the money I have, or else I'll win all the money the other person has, as long as we're having a good time. That's the whole idea behind playing money games when you're playing for small change. But in hustling, you can't care about the other person. If you do, you're already losing. Because the mental game of hustling is to trick somebody continuously, to act like their best friend, but be the person who could stab them in the back with 40 knives. So you have to do it all with a smile on your face and have them convinced that they're doing the right thing.
Well, you talked about...
Now, when I get up to a tournament, let's say there's a $10 buy-in of all things, tournament, $10 buy-in, the chance of me winning is probably pretty low. I always get the butterfly in the stomach feeling. I love it. I mean, that's such a good feeling. For $10, you get this crazy, exhilarating, almost like an adrenaline rush. It's pretty cheap, considering what $10 would get you elsewhere. I mean, you'll get one sandwich from Fat Sandwich, or potentially 2 subs from Subway if you throw in some more for tax. But for $10, I get an exhilarating butterfly in the stomach feel. So what I do when I'm there is I'll either drink coffee, energy drinks, as you can see, smoke cigarettes, and basically anything at all that can get you to calm down and feel like you know what you're doing. But like, as I stepped up to the table, I examine the shot, I decide whether I can make it or whether I should try to shoot a safety, like a defensive shot, and I try to just go along with it. But I mean, there's never one specific pattern. It all depends. I mean, sometimes even just like drinking some water will do it for you, just like calming you down. Just need to be calm when you get to the table, and like I visualize the shots too. I visualize like where I want the shot to go and what are the potential problems that could go with it. And by doing that, like, I tell myself, okay, I know how to do the shot, I know how to execute it, so let's try to get this done. But it's not always that easy. I mean, sometimes a straight-in shot just looks crooked, but it's not.
What happens, like, if you ever, like, break that mental...
Learn from experience, the best thing to do when I lose focus, when I'm going down to shoot and I'm actually leaning down to start cueing, I'm far better off just getting back up, looking at the shot, or getting back up, going around the table, wiping my hands down, drinking my drink or whatever, and just going back, trying to approach the shot again. Because if you lose focus, I think that's one of the most essential parts of winning in 9-ball or 8-ball or any other pool game. It's just that when you're getting down on the shot, you know what's going on, you know what you want to do. So if you lose focus, restart is a good idea.
So what before you make any decision, you always focus on.
A different bar, a different place, different pool hall, different state, different country even. You'll always find pool tables somehow, and it's fun. I mean, there's no reason not to. I mean, I don't feel any like brand loyalty to any specific pool hall. No pool hall around here really treats you well enough. I mean, there's places I can find to play free pool any day I want. But I mean, I don't go there all the time for a reason. It's not always the same. There's a specific value to playing like in the Union versus at one of the town bars or one of the campus bars. So
Actually, want to get.
yeah, that's why I pay the $10 to sit there, and knowing that I'm probably going to lose. I mean, some of the people I play against in tournaments, to beat them one-on-one would be nearly impossible at this point in my life. But I still get an exhilaration from knowing that I'll have the chance maybe to beat them. That's pretty fun to me. It makes you. It's a different mentality that you have to keep up somehow differently. So it's.
So a lot of the thrill that you get is mostly because of the risk factor. Instead of like.
I guess you could call it the risk factor. I guess you could say psychologically, I'm afraid of losing my $10, but I actively know that I'm not going to get my $10 back. I mean, some of the tournaments I play in, there's no way I'll beat the best players. There's very little chance. I mean, I'll try my best. I'll do what I can, but it's almost like self-handicapping myself. But at the same time, I mean, I've gotten into the money at tournaments I never expected to before, and got either my entry fee back or maybe $1 or $2 more. And yeah, definitely I pay for the exhilaration feeling. I go there knowing I'll get that, and I enjoy it.
Nice. Contrast between the two.
The movies aren't always accurate, and that's not the only hustle. I mean, that's the hustle that people know because of movies like The Color of Money and The Hustler. I mean, you go and you play low dollar sets and you bump them up to high dollar sets, but there's far more hilarious versions of that. I mean, you go to these big tournaments like Glass City, Derby City Open and the Glass City Open big tournaments, and you'll have like, or you'll go to like some Q show where people are selling pool cues in large amounts and there's tables to test them on. And of course, there's always a bar if there's pool players. So, I mean, one of my favorite ones was this: a guy walks in, he starts drinking a lot, walks in with a very junky looking cue. He walks in with a cue though. He walks in with a cue by a company called Q-Tech, and amongst pool players, it's not very respected because the cues, frankly, most people think they don't shoot well. I don't really have an opinion on them. Never really shot with them, but this kid will walk in with a Q-Tech. He'll sit there getting drunk, mouthing off to everybody that he can, basically trying to get on everybody's nerves. And somebody will be like, and he'll start talking trash about the other cue makers and the other cue makers, their products, and he'll essentially win a challenge or get somebody to challenge him for money. And oftentimes when people are ticked off at somebody, they'll try to, I guess, not necessarily shark them, but sort of scare them by betting a large amount. They'll be like, hey, let's play $100 a game right now so you can shut your mouth. But what can happen is that this guy in this hustle he would just basically say, oh, let's do double, let's do 200. And essentially at that point, the person who called him out would usually realize, you know what, I just messed up big time, I'm about to lose a lot of money. Because it would become obvious that the kid was just going to take him. And like the hustle doesn't require that it has to be like all the movies where the guy comes in and plays low dollar sets and plays high dollar sets. All you have to do essentially in the hustle is convince somebody that they're better than you until they place a wager. And after the wager is placed, you can screw them over however you want. I mean, the point is to show them that you tricked them mentally.
Within someone's own individual queue.
A sense of pride. I mean, some people pay up to $20,000 for a queue. That's a car. I mean, you can buy yourself a new car for $20,000 these days. Some people will buy a queue at that value. Also, people love to have precious metals, precious leathers. For instance, having like a lizard wrap on the queue, the place where you hold it. Usually on a queue, on a bar queue, there's nothing on it. It's just like slicked down or painted. But on a custom queue, you can sometimes have a lizard wrap where your hand goes to be supposedly more comfortable. Also, people will load up a queue with ivory. I don't know where they get it. I don't know how they get it, but you have a bunch of ivory put in inlays within the queue to make it look nicer. Those kinds of things will cost money. There definitely is a sense of pride, and there definitely is a different feel to every queue that you shoot with. They don't all shoot the same.
Do you feel that because people have these special custom queues that...
What intimidates me the most is when somebody will walk in, they'll pick up a bar queue and they'll make a fool out of anybody else on the table.